They get long, I'm sure.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the October 2018 Energy Awareness Commission meeting. It's 5 o'clock. We will start the meeting with check over the minutes from our September meeting. Hopefully you've all had a chance to read them, look them over. Are there any questions, changes, additions to the minutes of September 11th? If not, I'd entertain a motion to move.
I'll make the motion to approve the minutes of the September 11th Energy Awareness Commission meeting.
I'll second.
Motion been made and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes have been approved. Moving on in the agenda, we'll go through the statement of expenses, and we'll let Derek expand on them a little bit.
Good evening. The first topic on the statement of expenses is the printing, advertising, and promotion account. So this is part of the CIP, but as you can guess, this isn't a rebate that which is why you maybe haven't seen this. But this, along with a handful of other accounts, are actually part of the CIP. One would be my salary, other different advertisements, different other accounts get paid out of this whole conservation improvement program. So in reality, what we have budgeted for these accounts isn't the actual total cost of the conservation improvement program. It's just the cost, the percentage that we have to put into the actual programs for the rebates and the reimbursements. So I thought I'd put that in there just so you can see something a little different. But it had a beginning balance of $9,500, and it actually has a balance of 0. So we've used that account up. So a lot of the power facts you see in maybe the Shopper or the Journal come out from there. Possibly some other advertisement that I give out to some other, like Madsen Inc., who helps with the quarterly newsletters. Some fees might come out of that account. So the AC install rebate, the current balance of that is minus $4,092. And that had a beginning balance of $18,000. So that's over budget for that account, but of course, like I've said before, we're not over our overall budget, which is the most important. Holiday LED lighting, which is just starting, so that doesn't have anything taken out of the account already, but I wanted to bring this up because it is starting, just to help get the word out that starting October 1st through the 14th of December is when the holiday lights can be purchased. So anything that gets purchased in that date that's an LED holiday light, whether it's Halloween lights, Christmas lights, just some purple lights you want to put in on some Minnesota Vikings tree you have in your house or something, you can do that. And that chamber dollars is how that gets paid out in reimbursements. So those will go out 13th to 14th of November is when those start to get paid out. And then the shade tree rebate, the relief, that hasn't ended yet, but it's kind of winding down. Still a few rebates come in with that. So far we have rebated $2,154 out of a starting balance of $3,000, which is pretty much the consistent starting point with that rebate. That really does not change from year to year. We've rebated 41 trees, and 23 of those trees were just this last month, so we had a lot of those rebates coming in, people taking advantage of that. So that's all I have for the statement of expenses. Any questions?
So yeah, we had good activity on that shade tree program. That hasn't been that popular up until recently, has it?
Yeah, I don't know if all the funds have been used every year, but it's starting to pick up a lot. Especially, obviously, this last month, over half of what we've rebated so far was just this last month. And there's still time for people to plant trees. I think that ends, I didn't write it down, but it's November, I believe. Oh yeah, ends November 1st, so there's still time if it stops raining.
And the PUC open house has been?
Public Power Week,
Yeah,
that is this Thursday, October 11th,
okay.
from
that's
4
something to keep
4
in-
o'clock to 7 o'clock.
Keep on our calendars.
And it's not supposed to rain, but it's about 10 degrees colder than what I thought it was going to be a week ago. So,
Well, I think we got the.
but it also could have been 70 degrees for all I knew when I planned this. So
Yeah.
it's kind of a hit or miss this time of year.
Derek, can I ask a question?
Sure.
If we ever change these Christmas lights, holiday lights downtown, where does that come out of? The ones in between the stores?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I think that's changing hands. I think they were owned by the chamber, possibly. And now there's some debate on what's going on, how they're going to do those. They're trying to look for an easement on buildings, how to hang them. They're trying to get a 1-year easement so they can hang a certain amount of those.
Yeah.
Rod, would you have any update on that or further background on that? Feel free.
Good evening.
This is
Can
our
you hear me
new
okay?
Public Utilities Manager.
Thank you. I mean, we have the president of the commission here too that's intimately familiar with.
Sure, yeah. I'm trying to remember, does the city own I think the question was who pays for the lights?
No, yeah. Where does the money come from if we're gonna replace them or
They are-
whatever?
They are LED at this point.
Yeah, I know they're LED, you
Yeah.
can't see them anymore. You know,
Yeah.
the old lights you could see all the way down to 7th. These here, you gotta get underneath them to see them.
That's the point, get you downtown.
Just look for the goat. Yeah. Where does that money come from on these lights?
Well, the PUC puts in labor definitely to put
Well,
them up
yeah.
every year.
Okay.
Are they shared city and PUC asset, or are they?
I think they're a PUC asset. I think the PUC purchased those when they switched over.
I was just wondering.
But, that was probably 15 years ago.
Yeah.
10 years ago for sure.
And the garland itself, is that purchased by the chamber then?
I don't think the utilities purchases that.
I can tell you what my understanding is of each of the components. The guy wire between the buildings will be replaced this year. That's being attributed to the utility, the electric utility.
Okay.
The garlands are a joint project between the city and the utility. The utility installs them on the guy wires. The garlands are assembled, I believe, by the city. So they're fresh every year. The lights, as I understand it, belong to the chamber. And they're weaved into the garlands. And then the electric utility will install the garlands on the guy wires and make the electrical connection and prepare for the button push on Friday, I think, after Thanksgiving, yes. That's my understanding of the situation. So.
Very good. So the PUC is contributing a significant amount of labor.
Yes,
Thank
Okay.
you.
you're welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Any other questions about statement of expenses for the month? Not, I'd entertain a motion to approve that report.
I motion to approve. I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Statement of expenses for last month has been approved. We'll move on to our proposed budget for next year. And Derek, you've done some adjusting there according to our wishes as per the last several meetings.
So I gotta scroll to mine. I printed mine off. I get it cut off. So what I have here is, it's not necessarily finalized yet, but we're getting to the point if there's something that the AAC has concerns about, we need to be addressing those tonight to get those resolved, because we are running out of time to adjust this. And if we would have known it was real crunch time on this, this would have been presented last month. so I apologize if there's some issues. So the overall budget for 2019 is $254,400, which, you know, is $1,400 more than this last previous year. Some of the changes in 2019 budget compared to this last year, 2018, is a decrease of $1,500 in the programmable thermostat account, and an addition of $5,400 to the energy audit account. As if you remember, we've discussed, we're going to be looking at Minnesota Energy and Environment to do energy audits next year. We'll also be possibly doing a partnership with Minnesota Valley Action Council, MVAC, to try to make sure that the low-income people that probably can benefit the most from the energy audits are represented in this program. So that has increased. And then, of course, towards the bottom, we added a new account for this next year. Something that kind of was there, but it wasn't singled out as it's in its own account, which is Energy Education Research Grant. And what we decided on was $5,000 last month to start out. So $5,000 has been budgeted to that account. And I have gone over this with Director Marshall and Assistant Finance Director Manderfeld. They've kind of accepted this, so the next step is obviously to get it approved by Public Use Utilities Commission, City Council. So like I said, if there's any concerns with any of these numbers or any questions, now is a really good time to ask.
Commissioners, do you see any need for any further adjustments? If not, I'd look for approval of the preliminary budget for 2019.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Good work. Back to my agenda here. Under old business, we had talked about the thermostatic steam valve installation project, and Derek did some research on that, and he's got a report for us on that.
So another topic that we discussed last month was a thermostatic valve installation kind of program, or not necessarily program, but to try to use up some of the funds in the district energy steam rebate program. So I've talked to 6 steam customers regarding installing thermostatic valves. 2 of these customers agreed to have a vendor inspect the building, and I went along with the vendor to inspect their buildings. And looking through their buildings and talking with the vendor, a lot of both these places would be kind of hard to install thermostatic valves based on where the steam main is running through the building and how all the other pipes associated with the building kind of branch off. It'd be probably really expensive in order to get a thermostatic valve in place in these 2 buildings. There'd have to be a lot of unnecessary piping readjustments of relocation of piping. So, but in both locations, we were able to not necessarily get a main thermostatic valve. So ideally, at least from what I have always understood and have read, you try to have a thermostatic valve in like a main room, like say some of these downtown businesses or like in a house, have a main thermostatic valve installed in the main room, which would, has its sensors on that would control the valve down by the main. And then a lot of these other homes would have cast iron or other radiators in rooms, and you can have an individual in there so that you can adjust the rooms upstairs and not affect, they're kind of zoned out. So in these 2 locations, that kind of was the best case scenario, is to get thermostatic valves installed on the cast iron radiators individually. So at least there can be some control and isolation of the heat in those rooms. I have not received a pricing from the vendor yet on those 2 locations, so that would be something that I'll have to report to in the future when I receive those, and if the customers agree to have them installed. They both were really interested, but of course, price is a major selling point, whether or not they want to do it. So,
Do you anticipate any further interest in this program from
well, I'm
other
going to
landowners, other
continue.
customers?
I'm going to continue to talk to more. It'll be hard. I'm sure a lot of the businesses downtown would appreciate this, but it's getting a hold of building owners who don't necessarily own the business. So there's going to be some challenges, but it's not worth scrapping the idea as of yet. So.
Okay, well, I'd certainly be in favor of continuing the marketing of the program and contacting the people. And it'll be interesting to see what the estimates come in from the
Right.
vendors. It'll give us a real good clue of where we're
Right,
going with this.
I think so.
Any other questions or comments on the thermostatic valve installations? So we'll keep her going. Are there any other commissioner comments or items that we wish to bring up at this time? If not, I'll just announce our next meeting of November 11th and ask for a motion of adjournment.
I'll make a motion of adjournment. I'll second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned. 17